Deputy Public Defender Oscar B. Rowe here with another lesson for Dr. Field's classes. Today we discuss California Penal Code, Section 647A, Lewd Conduct in Public. The jury instructions for this crime are contained in Cal Crim 1161-2025. To prove that the defendant is guilty of this crime, the people must prove that 1. The defendant willfully engaged in the touching of his, her own, or another person's genitals or buttocks or female breast. 2. The defendant did so with the intent to sexually arouse or gratify himself, herself, or another person, or to annoy or offend another person. 3. At the time the defendant engaged in the conduct, he/she was in a public place, or a place open to the public or to public view. 4. At the time the defendant engaged in the conduct, someone else who might have been offended was present. And 5. The defendant knew, or reasonably should have known, that another person who might have been offended by his/her conduct was present. More than the mere possibility of being seen by someone else is required. There must be some actual likelihood that third persons are present. As used in this crime, a public place is a place that is open and accessible to anyone who wishes to go there. Examples include a private movie booth at an adult bookstore, a car parked on a public street, a common hallway in the college dorms, or a massage parlor. Your home, your private dorm room, or your closed place of business are not public places unless they are in public view, such as an open front picture window. It is not the burden of the prosecution to prove that the observer was in fact offended by the conduct, but only that the conduct was such that defendant should know that the observer may be offended. People v. Rylarsdam, 1982. Police tend to set up lewd conduct sting operations in bathrooms, especially park and beach area bathrooms, public parks, alleyways, shopping malls, adult bookstores, and gyms, typically as a result of complaints from the public. This section does not apply to a live theater performance before an audience. Barrows v. Municipal Court, 1970. I'll leave that one to your imagination. Activity that is not intended to arouse or annoy anyone sexually is not prohibited under the statute. For example, suppose you were in a public restroom on campus and you pull down your pants to wash your genital area. True story. Since you have no intent to arouse or annoy anyone, you are not guilty of lewd conduct. In my experience, the following criminal defense strategies have proven effective with prosecutors, judges, and juries at getting these charges reduced or dismissed. Nothing you did qualifies as lewd conduct in public. I would compile all the available evidence to show that there is reasonable doubt as to your guilt. Examples include video surveillance video and eyewitness accounts. You touched yourself, but not for sexual gratification. I find this to be a strong defense because prosecutors have no way of getting inside of your head and knowing what you really intended. Perhaps you were only touching yourself in a bathroom stall because you needed to urinate. Or maybe you were rubbing yourself because your genital area itched. As long as the DA cannot prove beyond a reasonable doubt your conduct stemmed from a sexual or offensive intent, your lewd conduct in public case should be dismissed. You reasonably believe there was no one present who would be offended. This defense is used when our client believed they were alone or with an intimate partner or friends. Unless prosecutors can show you reasonably should have known that someone would likely see you and be offended, you are not guilty. You were not in a public place or a place open to public view. A key element of lewd conduct in public is that you were somewhere the public could see you. Through the help of video surveillance, GPS records, and alibi witnesses, I may be able to show that you were in a private place when the sexual activity occurred. Entrapment. I often see police cross the line into entrapment when they conduct undercover sting operations. See the chapter on criminal defenses for a deeper discussion of this defense. For example, Jose enters a bathroom, and the decoy officer makes a motion like he wants to masturbate. Jose responds by dropping his pants and stroking his penis. The officer's conduct is probably not sufficient provocation to support an entrapment defense. However, suppose Jose ignores the decoy at first. Then the decoy persists and says to Jose, "You're hot. Let's mess around. I'll watch to make sure no one is coming." This more aggressive behavior may qualify as police entrapment. If I can establish that the police entrapped you, that almost always results in the charges being dismissed. I'm Deputy Public Defender Oscar B. Rowe, and that is your lesson on California Penal Code Section 647A, Lewd Conduct in Public.